Ah, Christmas time. It's finally come again. And thank God, because this year has sucked ass. So what's a better way to ignore the world burning around us than watching a terrible Christmas movie from the 90s? To remind us all of a better time when we could actually go outside and see people, and we weren't literally watching the destruction of human civilization as we know it. So this year I decided to watch Jingle All the Way, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sinbad. Oh boy. Also, this movie came in a box set with Deck the Halls, starring Danny DeVito and Ferris Bueller, which we watched last year. Go watch that. But pretend it's not here for the sake of this video. So, I hadn't actually seen this movie all the way through before making this movie. I'd seen little bits of it here and there, mostly when my brother watched it on TV and I just, walked by. But I figured I wouldn't like it, because it didn't look very good. Yeah, I was right. This movie it's weird. So anyways, let's just jump right in because I'm bad at writing intros and this is going to be a long video, and I'm desperately running out of time to make it. So our film opens up with an episode of Turbo Man, basically a bootleg Power Rangers. It's got everything: cheesy fighting, some dumb kid getting captured by some dumb villain, a hero that can never lose, a knowing sidekick, and most importantly, marketability. For some reason, whoever made this movie decided to add the most obnoxious titles in here. Like, wow, this movie's got Arnold in it. Wow, Sinbad's in it. It's very distracting. Anyways, we finally cut away from the action on screen to see, holy shit, it's Anakin from The Phantom Menace, before he went crazy from getting bullied by the entire internet. I'm kinda sad now. Anyways, his mom tells him to go get changed, and that his dad is coming to whatever Anakin has to get changed for, although according to Anakin, he misses everything. We then cut to a big old office building having a Christmas party, where our boy Arnold is in his office on the phone. I'd like to take a moment to state the fact that I am in fact an asshole and refuse to learn pretty much any character names, so I'm going to be calling him Arnold for the entire movie. Anyways, he's making deals, just a businessman doing business, and he calls everyone he calls his #1 customer. And of course, his wife calls, and he calls her that too, solidifying the fact that he is a terrible husband. Apparently, he has to go to Anakin's karate class or something, and he states that he's gonna make it. Spoiler, he doesn't make it, and he gets pulled over for driving on the side of the road, missing the shittiest karate demo ever. At the karate demo, we are introduced to Ted, this weird guy who's filming stuff, and all the women, except Annie's mom, seem really horny for. He gets cookies for doing stuff, and he gets asked to do more stuff. Also, his audio is totally fucked thanks to all the women trying to have sex with him in the background. Anyways, Arnie eventually gets home to find Ted stringing Christmas lights on his roof because he's such a nice guy. I think it goes without saying that Arnold doesn't like him at all. Anyways, he goes inside and his wife and son are understandably mad at him for being a terrible husband and father. Eventually, Anakin gets fed up and runs to his room, and Arnold follows. His room's covered in Turbo Man merch, and what kind of stupid nerd idiot fills his room full of merch? Like, who does that? Anyways, Arnold tries to cheer Annie up, and it's understandably not working because, yeah, he's a terrible father. Eventually, Arnold just gives up and decides to buy his son's love, and asks Annie what he wants for Christmas, and that he'll get him anything he wants. Of course, he wants a new Turbo Man toy, the greatest toy ever, or something. Of course the child wants a fancy toy. A real kid shouldn't want that and only want quality family time with his family and friends. That being said, if someone wants to buy me the Lego Mos Eisley Cantina set, I'd really appreciate it. I want it. Someone buy it for me. Also, Annie recites the entire commercial, and it's weird. After getting this information, Arnold goes to bed after talking to his wife, who says he was supposed to get the toy like 2 months ago, and it'll be pretty much impossible to get now. Arnold just laughs that off, and we get the best shot in the entire movie. I love this, I don't know why. The next morning is Christmas Eve, and Arnie tells his family that he's going to go get the toy, solidifying the fact that he is in fact a terrible father. But he assures them that he'll be back in time for the Christmas parade that Anakin wants him to go to, which apparently he's missed for the last few years, because, yeah, he's awful. I don't know how many times I'm going to say that in this video. Apparently the parade will feature Turbo Man in all his glory, which of course Annie wants to go see. Outside, Ted has a reindeer or something, which apparently he's just gonna let go among some deer or something after Christmas. Great job destroying ecosystems, Ted. Also, apparently he bought a Turbo Man for his son, which is currently under his Christmas tree. We'll come back to that. Arnold eventually gets to a toy store, which has a massive lineup of people outside desperately trying to get last-minute toys, and most importantly, Turbo Mans. It is here where we are introduced to Sinbad. Oh god, why? Anyways, he just rambles on about nothing for like 7 minutes straight. I kinda stopped listening, to be honest, and tuned my brain out. Eventually the store opens, sparing me from having to listen to Sinbad for any longer. Here, Arnold finds out that his wife wasn't lying and Turboman is going to be pretty much impossible to get, as he's informed by these two workers with the worst customer service skills imaginable.
Yes. They're looking for Turbo Man.
I'm gonna need all the holiday spirit I can muster up on this one. This is a wild ride. Ugh. Hate eggnog. Ugh. Ow. Whoa. It worked. I'm festive. I have the will to watch this movie now. Anyways, Arnold just assaults them to get what he wants, which is illegal. But they can't help him find a Turbo Man because the last one just sold. Sinbad overhears this, and of course there's a wacky big old chase scene through the store, full of hijinks so the two can try and steal Turbo Man from the lady who just bought it. Of course they lose and the lady keeps her Turbo Man, and we cut to a montage of Arnie that just goes on forever, and ends with Arnold destroying the store's property out of frustration. Eventually Arnold decides to phone home, where Ted picks up, as Anakin fights with his son in the background. Ted is creepy, and I don't like him. Also, he's an asshole. However, we do get this gem of a line in retaliation to him.
Put that cookie down! Now!
With his will to find Turbo Man restored, he sets off again on his quest to find a Turbo Man. And who'd have thought, but Sinbad shows up again. Yay. Apparently he wants to team up with Arnold to try and get them both a Turbo Man. And understandably, Arnold refuses, because Sinbad sucks, and I hate him. Eventually they find out a store in the mall has received a new shipment of Turbo Mans, and Arnold ditches Sinbad to get there. Once he arrives, he finds that the manager of the toy store is basically lotterying off balls with a number on it to the people in the rioting crowd, and he sells them at a double price due to their limited quantity. As expected, of course the balls fall, making an obligatory big mess, just like all movies like this, and chaos ensues. Arnold does his best to get a ball, but Sinbad's here, and he just pepper sprays him, and the ball falls down an escalator. But Arnold, who recovers very quickly from this pepper spray, runs after it. It bounces throughout the store as Arnold chases after it like an unhinged madman, and it bounces through a Lego store, which, if Anakin wasn't a little bitch boy, Arnold could just get him something really cool from there. Like, for example, the Lego Mos Eisley Cantina, which I would really appreciate it if someone would buy me one, because I'm broke. Eventually the ball winds up in the hands of the weirdest looking child ever, who taunts him with it. This of course provokes Arnold to chase the child throughout the mall, eventually going through a playground, and of course causes the child to eat the ball, and Arnold to be savagely beaten by the parents of the kids he's very much harassing. Once he escapes the parents, a mall Santa calls him over, just to make some weird jokes, and says he can get Arnold a Turbo Man. But Arnold's too smart for him, and says that he's not the real Santa.
I may be wrong, but you are not the real Santa Claus.
Good job, Arnold, you figured it out. I'm proud of you. Everyone knows Santa's at the North Pole. He's a busy guy this time of year. But of course Arnold forgets what stranger danger is and drives off with Santa to a weird abandoned warehouse. Why he doesn't run off immediately, I really don't know. Eventually they get out and go in, and of course the secret knock is Jingle Bells, and inside is a cult dedicated to Santa. I genuinely don't know what's happening in this movie anymore. The mall Santa eventually pulls out the promised Turbo Man, which of course is broken and in Spanish. Arnold is understandably mad, but the Santas won't give him his money back, which leads to an all-out brawl complete with Ninja Santa. Of course, where else would this movie go? Arnold just beats people left and right until he reaches the final boss Santa, and a little minion who just jumps onto Arnold like a jockey from Left 4 Dead. After a long battle that goes on for way too long, the cops arrive, and in order to avoid persecution, Arnold grabs a toy badge and pretends to be an undercover cop. And somehow this actually works. Pretty sure that's more illegal than being in a Santa brawl, but we'll just gloss over that. Back home, all of the women are still incredibly horny over Ted. According to his son, he only started acting the way he does after he got divorced, and he tells Anakin that his parents should get divorced, which understandably causes Annie to run away. Meanwhile, Arnold runs from the scene of his many crimes, and on the way home his car runs out of gas. He goes to a diner to call home, where Anakin picks up. And of course he's being a little bitch about Turbo Man, and Arnold snaps at him, which causes Anakin to hang up. This is kind of a sad scene, to be honest. Look at his little face. Defeated, Arnold goes to hang out to the diner, where Sinbad shows up, and he just starts being himself. The two just openly start drinking in the middle of this diner, having a bit of a heart-to-heart about family, and about just how much Turbo Man means to their sons. Honestly, not that bad, to be honest. Although Sinbad insinuates that because his father never got him one specific toy on one specific Christmas, that's the reason why he's an awful person. And that's the only reason. This of course causes Arnold to hallucinate Annie becoming Sinbad, which is unsettling, but is suddenly interrupted by the radio, which apparently is having a contest for a Turbo Man toy if you call in. Of course, this causes Arnold and Sinbad to immediately start fighting one another over who gets to phone the station. This results in the phone being destroyed, and the two have a big old chase sequence towards the station, which is not how radio contests work. Also, Sinbad just casually destroys people's mail. We'll just ignore that. Once they arrive, they forcibly break into the studio, and Sinbad decides to whip out a bomb he found in the mail. In fear for his life, the radio host reveals that he doesn't actually have the Turbo Man at the station, and Sinbad reveals that the bomb is, of course, a fake. The cops inevitably arrive because, they broke in and threatened to kill a man, and to escape, Sinbad fakes another bomb, and Arnold just goes along with that, running away the moment he has a chance. Except, surprise, the bomb is real and all the cops die. Sinbad and Arnold then go to jail for committing terrorism. The end. Now, somehow the cops all survive, and Arnold gets a ride home with a tow truck. There, he finds Ted decorating his tree. In rage, Arnold decides to steal the aforementioned Turbo Man from under Ted's tree, adding yet again to his list of many crimes. Of course, the Turbo Man is incredibly conveniently wrapped, and only after committing the act does he realize what he's doing is wrong. But before he can return the Turbo Man, he gets jumped by the reindeer that Ted had earlier, and accidentally starts a fire, which I don't think he ever actually puts out. I might be wrong on that, though. I stopped paying attention in this movie. Of course, he is eventually caught by his wife and Ted, who are understandably mad, causing him to just deck the reindeer in the face and then have a drink with it. What else do you do? However, after being inspired by a kid's drawing, he eventually decides to go get a Turbo Man, for real this time, and heads to the parade. Also at the parade, Ted and Arnold's wife drops their kids off and drive out back, where Ted is creepy as hell and very much wants to have sex with her, which somehow she doesn't want to. I don't know why, I'd fuck Ted. Arnold sees this creepy exchange and is of course very angry, but before he's able to intervene, he runs into the cop he tried to murder earlier, who I guess had just stopped looking for Arnold. Anyways, Arnie runs away from the cops, and as his wife beats Ted and runs from him, cause he's a sex predator. Arnold eventually manages to escape the cop after the cop runs straight into a bus, and he ducks into the back of a building, where the people inside mistake him for the guy who's supposed to be playing Turbo Man in the parade. So of course they forcibly undress him, ram him into the Turbo Man suit, and force him out onto the parade float. Understandably, Arnold is a little bit confused by this, but he figures out what to do pretty quickly and just kind of wings it. Eventually he's informed he has to choose a child to give a Turbo Man to, so of course he picks his son out of the huge crowd and calls him out by his name, which definitely doesn't make it look rigged at all. As Anakin comes up to the parade float, someone is currently in the process of stealing the suit of Turbo Man's rival, and that someone is of course Sinbad, who assaults several people in his quest to get a Turbo Man. Eventually he makes his way to Arnold, and the crowd believes that this is all staged, because, the villain was supposed to be here until Sinbad killed the guy that was originally supposed to be in the suit and took his place. This of course means that the suit Sinbad stole comes equipped with gadgets so they can put on a better show, and the one he chooses to use is a prehensile hand that fires off and is capable of returning to his hand, completely self-propelled. What was their budget for this parade that they're capable of this kind of technology? In retaliation, Arnold shoots him with boomerangs, and Anakin runs for his life. Eventually, other performers show up as Sinbad's henchmen, and Arnold just beats the ever-living shit out of all of them. Sinbad chases Anakin up a building, and understandably, Arnold's kind of panicking about this. So of course, he finds out that the Turbo Man suit he's wearing is fully functional and is capable of flight like an Iron Man suit. I will reiterate. What the hell was their budget for this parade that they have literal Iron Man technology? This is supposed to be a parade float. Why can it fly and have weaponry? So he just flies around, making me wish I was watching a better movie, as he causes hundreds of dollars worth of property damage, terrorizing several families, and again adding to his list of many, many crimes. Also, he rams into a wall and just kind of does this. I don't really know how to respond to this. Anyway, Sinbad almost kills Anakin for the Turbo Man toy, but he falls off the building and unfortunately doesn't die, and is finally arrested for, you know, literally being a terrorist. Also, Anakin is saved at the last second by Arnold, who cares? Once on the ground, we get the obligatory scene where Anakin goes, "Wow, this is the coolest moment of my entire life, but I sure wish my dad was here. Too bad he's a terrible father." Which causes Arnold to go, "Nah man, your dad's pretty cool," and reveal himself to be the one inside the Turbo Man suit. How wholesome. I kind of expected Anakin to go, "Wow, Turbo Man sucks, fuck you dad," like that Cyanide and Happiness short. But no, Anakin's pretty happy about this, and surrenders the Turbo Man toy to Sinbad, despite him literally going to prison. I don't really understand giving up the toy. Sinbad's going to prison, his kid's not gonna actually get it. It's evidence now. Arnold is, of course, confused by this as well, but Anakin's answer is that he already has the real Turbo Man in the form of his father. I guess the real Turbo Man was the friends we made along the way. Also, the cops just kind of don't care about Arnold anymore for some reason. That's not really addressed. Someone needs to make a tally of the amount of crimes he commits in this movie, because it's a lot. Anyways, the movie just ends there. No epilogue or anything. That's just it. It just stops. Also, I don't know how they explained what just happened to all the people watching the parade, but who cares? But thankfully, this movie is finally over. Is this movie as bad as some of the other things I've put myself through in the sake of content? No, it's really not. Honestly, this movie's kind of enjoyable. It's not good, but you can have a good time watching this movie. It's kind of funny in the way that it's just so ridiculous and stupid that it's fun. Although it doesn't really put me in the Christmas spirit. Whatever, it's an okay movie. But I think that brings us to the end of this video. Thanks for watching. It's been a rough year for us all, but I hope everyone watching is safe and having a good holiday. As a reminder, if someone wants to buy me the Mos Eisley set, my DMs are open on Twitter and Instagram. I want it, I'm poor, please. Anyways, thanks for watching, and have a good Christmas, everyone. I gotta go rush this video out before Christmas time. I'm recording this 3 days before Christmas, so hopefully it comes out on time. Anyways, see you later. Bye-bye. Really gonna need all the holiday spirit I can muster for this one. It's gonna be a wild time.